Good morning, and thank you for joining us for the April 25th In the Know webinar. I apologize, that slide says March 28th. I missed that. But it is the April 25th In the Know webinar for the QuickBooks Online monthly updates. My name is Wayne Daly, and I will be your host for today. I'm a senior service and support specialist. I work here in Tucson, Arizona, and I've been working with Intuit for 4.5 years. I love to implement and improve processes that save accountants time, and I am a team lead on the national accounts team. Today's agenda is to welcome the attendees, which I've already done. We are going to discuss the CPE credit eligibility, review learning objectives, feature topics. Today is the QuickBooks Online Advanced. We're going to go over some accountant resources, and then we'll close the webinar. Today, I am going to sit on this slide for a moment because I have seen in the question log some people saying, can you show the slide with the phone number? And I'm not hearing you. So today is only through the computer. So for those who can't hear us, I like to leave this slide up there so they know where to find the help. Actually, that's what we do here in customer support and care and customer success. We want to make sure you get the help you need. And since Intuit's not able to help these customers that can't hear because it's not our product, I like to make sure I leave this up here for a moment. While I leave this up here, I'm going to let you know that your voice is very important to us. There will be a slide coming up that's going to tell you how to get to the question log. And I want you to go ahead and make sure that you're familiar with that so that we can get your feedback. The CPE eligibility today, there is no CPE credit, unfortunately, for today. We did have it scheduled to offer one CPE credit. However, we only have one presenter instead of two due to scheduling changes of release. We had to pull one of the segments from today, which reduced us in the amount of time that we're going to schedule today and our ability to offer CPE credits. So there is no CPE credit for today's offering. With that, I'm going to go ahead and sit on this handout for a moment. That handout is available to you through the GoToWebinar control panel, which should have populated on the right-hand side of your screen. There's a little icon there that looks like a page with a turn-down corner. If you click on that, you'll see that handout available for you to download directly from GoToWebinar, or you can go to the bit.ly link at the bottom of the screen. That bit.ly link changes every month according to what month it is. This month, it is the ITK handout for 2019-04, since this is the April In the Know webinar. We're going to cover some accountants resources. I move very quickly through these slides. I want to let you know all of that information is in the handout. Everything that you see is a resource, and the links available as clickable links in that PDF document. So you do want to make sure you download that handout. The first one is talking about the In the Know, since that's what we're doing today. You can register for future events. You can find the archive for prior events. And one of the things I want to point out is that feedback. You see where it says In the Know at intuit.com? That link's available in the handout. Make sure you're providing me any feedback about this webinar because we do want to make sure we're tailoring it and designing it so that it is a benefit for you. I want to make sure that you see this as well. Recently, we did do a redesign for the Pro Advisor program where you can find answers about what's changed. That article is linked in the handout for you to go and learn more about that redesigned Pro Advisor program. There's also the training events page that offers webinars and conferences. This slide doesn't show any of the information that's there, but if you go to that link that's in your handout, you'll be able to see all sorts of webinars and conferences, most of which do offer CPE credits. From that page, if you click on the QuickBooks Tutorials link, it'll take you to the tutorials page, which offers small businesses, which are your clients, and yourself, the accountants, a set of quick videos. I haven't seen a video over 3 minutes. It's a great way to find some quick information to learn how to use your program or to instruct your clients on where to self-help for certain areas of the program. The Accountant Help Hub is yet another resource. You can see that has an Ask the Question field. You simply type your question in there, click the search, and it will return results based on the question that you've asked. That's a very helpful resource. That link is available in your handout. The Intuit Business Discussions topics. There's a lot of social media groups across the multitude of social media sites. What we're looking to do is kind of centralize that for all the QuickBooks Pro Advisors, QuickBooks accountants, to have one place to go to talk about your business or to find help or best practices from one another. That is a very useful place. I would say it would be useful for you to go check that out. And that is also available in your handout. I wanted to make sure that we include at least one help document. This is a help type of document that's going to help you avoid any issues using our features. There are steps for updating your address, not only in your QBOA firm, but also for your clients, in order to ensure that billing is correct, wholesale billing, apps, payroll, everything is working correctly and talking to each other. We want to make sure that addresses are formatted correctly. The steps for updating those addresses in your firm and your clients are available to you in the handout. And speaking of the handout, that handout is available to you through the GoToWebinar control panel, which should be on the right-hand side of your screen. There should be an icon there that looks like a page with a tagged or a folded down corner in the upper right-hand corner. You click on that, it'll give you access to that PDF file. That PDF file has every slide that you're going to see today is going to be in that handout, including clickable links to additional resources for the features and accountant resources that we're talking about today. At this point, we're going to go ahead and transition over to our first presenter. We're going to have a bit of a minute of silence as we make that transition over. Our first topic for today is QuickBooks Online Advanced. And QuickBooks Online Advanced has some great new features that are going to be a tremendous benefit for both accountants and their clients. What we'd like to do today is go ahead and talk about those. And our presenter today is Christine Byrne. Christine Byrne is a group manager of strategy operations for QuickBooks Online Advanced. She's been with Intuit for 5 years. She works out of our Mountain View office, and she has a passion to delight mid-market businesses and accountants with QuickBooks Online Advanced. Christine, thank you so much for presenting with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, and I am really excited to share with all of you today about QuickBooks Online Advanced. And so today what we're going to focus on are the new features in Advanced. I'm sure most of you have heard about the newest offering in the online family, which is Advanced, and there are a couple of features that we're going to touch on briefly, but what we're going to focus on today is the new and enhanced custom fields, custom user permissions, accelerated invoicing. And accelerated invoicing has two parts, one of which is importing multiple invoices, but today I'm going to show you specifically how to create multiple invoices at once. And then lastly, we're going to touch on the third accountant seat, as well as the bill pay offer. And there's not a demo of the last two, but I'm going to show you how to access them in product. And then in terms of what else is available for your clients in Advanced, we have customized and enhanced reporting, which we're calling Smart Reporting, that is powered by a partner of ours called Fathom. So it gives clients a beautiful view of their books in more visual reports that help them get the information they need to make better business decisions. I touched on this briefly, but accelerated invoicing, the opportunity to import multiple invoices at a click of a button. Also custom user permissions, an overview tab, which is basically a one-stop shop for your client to see their books at a glance. And then lastly, priority circle membership. So this includes some free training for your clients, as well as priority support when they do call into Intuit Care. They get routed towards the front of the line so that they don't need to wait to get their questions answered. All right, moving along to the first feature that I want to highlight today, and that is enhanced custom fields. So starting off with the benefit, QuickBooks Online Advanced, what we've heard from these larger businesses that as they're growing, they need more customization in QuickBooks. And so with Advanced, you have more than the traditional 3 custom fields that you would have in Plus. And now you have the opportunity to customize both your customer information as well as the transaction information by text, by date, by number, and then you'll also have a drop-down list. And the thought here, and what we've heard from customers that are already using this feature, is the enhancement to their productivity, because with this custom fields feature, you can actually search on it, you can sort and filter, and actually run reports based on the fields that you have created for your business. So to access this feature, I'm actually going to jump right into the product. And one call out that I want to share with each of you today is QuickBooks Online Advanced is currently not available via QBO Accountant. So I encourage each of you to go into your handout and actually open up the test drive link so that you can play around with these features as well. So getting back to custom fields, we're going to start with our gear, and then under the lists section, you're going to see custom fields right here. So I'm going to click on it. Gives a little summary of customer and transaction details that help your clients make more detailed into their books. And I'm going to demo right now a transaction info. So I'm starting with, I'm going to make a drop down first of all. And what I want to do is I want to add my gardeners, because I am in Craig's Landscaping, and I'm going to add Tasneem, and I'm going to add Chris Bush, and I'm going to make sure that I can show this to my customer, and then I'm going to save them. So let me show this in action, and I'm going to go to create an invoice, and this is when I am creating an invoice. I'm going to bill Amy's Bird Sanctuary. And now what you can see that's showing up on my invoice is I can actually tag who did the work for Amy's Birdhouse. And it's going to be Tasneem. And then I can complete the rest of my invoice. And I have the choice as the business owner to either show Amy who the gardener was, or I can keep that for myself. Another piece of the custom fields is around the customer information. So I'm going to go back to my gear, go back to custom fields, and I'm going to add another field. And this time I'm going to add customer info. So when I think about my customers, I wanted the opportunity to run a report and see all of the neighborhoods where I am servicing. So I'm going to add neighborhood. I'm going to also do a drop down. And since I'm in Northern California, I'm going to do Santa Clara County. And I'm going to do San Francisco County. Save that. And so when I go, let's over to the left nav and on customers, what I can now see is when I'm adding a new customer, when I go into custom fields, I can add where they're located, save it, and then in a future day or month, I can run a report to see where most of my customers are located. So those are just a couple of ways to use the custom fields features for both transactions as well as customers. Let me switch back here. So this feature is now live, and each of you, as I mentioned, can test this out in Test Drive. And also, if you have any feedback on it, please feel free to send it our way. So I touched on most of this, but it gives clients more data types, more ability to actually search by this custom field values, and also run reports.
Hey, thanks, Christine. This is Wesley. Some of you may remember me from a while back in the webinar. A couple of things I want to bring up before we get into the questions and answers. There's been a lot of questions about the test drive link. We will provide that information a little bit later on a slide, and it's also in your handout, so we just didn't want to have it distracting before it's kind of time to have you jump off into Wow land with another distracting item. So Christine, we got some questions here. You may or may not know some of these, but you know, a lot of these people are coming from desktop where there's the reporting on things and customization is a little bit more enhanced. So
Yes.
Does this enhance provide a comparable customization to the invoices like desktop does?
For the customization to the invoices and custom fields, right now, this is the most customized that QuickBooks Online has ever been. Our goal is to give customers all of the customization that they would ever need. And for now, we've heard that this actually is comparable to the desktop functionality. But again, would love to hear your feedback once you do get into Test Drive and play around.
Cool. Yeah, and I'll just reiterate that anytime you have a feature that, you know, is in one place and not another, go ahead and give us feedback in product, because like Christine said, this is how they drive what we need to add next, and obviously we have to prioritize things. So right now the QBOA firms are plus companies. Do we have advance being planned for the accounting firms, or do we have any time frame that, you know, the test drive or the customer companies would be the only option for that?
Yeah, great question, and we get that question a lot. I can't share exact timing, but I can say that it has come up multiple times and we are looking into it.
Okay, and we've got one more question for this segment. So for the audience, we're going to have 3 segments. We're going to have a specific Q&A covering each of our pieces here. So one question here, you covered advanced, you know, the customization there. Does advanced, that test drive, have all current advanced features, or is it missing anything?
It has everything except priority circle. So you can't get the real world training codes while you're in test drive. You actually need to be a paying subscriber.
Okay, thanks, Christine. I'll turn it back over to you.
Awesome. Thank you all for your questions. All right. Up next is custom user permissions. So the benefit here, and this again goes back to the theme of as you're growing, you need the customization available in QuickBooks in order to scale your business and see your data the way in which you need to make better decisions. So with custom user permissions, as a business is growing, many times you actually do need to segment what some of your employees see and what others are not allowed to see. So with advanced, you get up to 25 users. And now with custom user permissions, we're expanding that capability so that we can, in better detail and granularity, give the customer or the business owners the flexibility that they need. So to use this, let's jump back into Test Drive. We're going to close out of that. We're going to start again at our gear. We're going to go over to manage users. And when I click on add user, you have now this option to add a custom user. So all of this custom user is new in advanced. In Plus, you have your standard user and your company admin. Well, let me show you what happens when I click custom user. So I have the opportunity to assign all of these permissions or limited permissions to one of my 25 users. So for this one, I am going to click all sales transactions, products and services and customers. And then this is giving limited access to sales tax and currencies. So I'm going to click next here. Then I have another question about if this user will have the ability to edit company info. I don't want them to, and I don't want them to be able to manage subscriptions. Then I would click next and enter in who this user is, their email address, and then they'll be sent an invitation. I'm not going to go through all of that here because it actually will trigger an email, and from Test Drive, you can't trigger those emails. All right, so again, you go through the gear, manage users, add a user, click custom user, and then select next. And as you saw, there are some hyperlinks to give better detail into what each of those users means and what they'll be able to do within QuickBooks. And it is available now, as you can see in all caps, exclamation point. We just launched this a couple days ago on the 22nd. And now time for some more Q&A.
Okay, we don't really have a lot of questions on the custom users, so I'm going to do a little bit of a left turn on you there, Christine.
No problem.
In a pre-existing slide, you mentioned inventory. So there's been a little bit of confusion because we do have some inventory in Plus. So if you could just speak to the very fundamental basic difference of the inventory in Advanced compared to Plus.
Yes, so right now it is the same functionality between Plus and Advanced. And I will pause there, but it's one of the areas that we're looking into how we could create more advanced functionality in Advanced for inventory. But for today, it's exactly the same.
Okay, so on the custom users, who can actually go in there and make changes? If I'm a custom user and I have, revenue versus expenses access, can I change myself so I can add payroll?
No, it would be the company admin that would make those changes for the user. So that's where the security piece comes in, that not anyone can have edit access to your books.
So they'd have to be the master admin or a company admin. No custom users would be able to change the user permissions.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Also, Test Drive. Some people are not real familiar with that. What's the shelf life? If you log in, play around with Test Drive, if they save some work, can they come back to that same Test Drive, or does it kind of reset?
It resets when you re-log in. So it would need to be a one sitting to save all of that work. But in Test Drive, one thing that's exciting is that there's a ton of preloaded data, so that when you go back in, you have the option to kind of play around with a fully burdened QuickBooks Online account that you don't need to add in all of their customers and products, etc.
Okay, thanks. One more question here before we jump on to the next section. On the user permission limit, if they're a custom user and they don't have payroll information, I don't know, maybe even go back to a slide that showed that option field. That might be almost easier to explain, because if they can't see payroll information, can they see general ledger information? Can they see profit and loss? because in desktop, you know, we have a lot of granularity in some of those.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So if you go into, you can see all of the banking, sales, expense reports options. And then when there is a question about what they could see, let's try expenses. There is a detailed view via this article of what they can see within banking, sales, expenses reports, and what the actual user would see if they don't have access to view the data. So this
oh,
is a really helpful link that you can access, and I can share this out with everyone after the
okay.
webinar.
Okay, that's helpful. Just actually, I don't know that anybody asked it, but I'm going to say, is it this our limit to user roles, or are we going to keep enhancing and fine tuning these user roles?
We are absolutely going to be enhancing and fine tuning. This is why, I am so happy to be talking with all of you today, because with your feedback, we're able to get the right user permissions and roles that we need in QuickBooks. So again, please give us your feedback, because we're very early on in the journey.
Yeah, thanks, Christine. I'll just chime in there with one comment. So if you have a specific user role that you would like to see, let us know what that is. You can either put that in the question log for the feedback now. And if you do that, if you give us a description of, you know, kind of what the parameters are, because that way Christine's team can take that and go, well, I want somebody to only view payroll and nothing else, not even the check register. You know, whatever you want to add, you know, that'd be helpful. So, okay, thanks, Christine. We'll jump on to the next section there.
One more feature that I want to talk through today, which is creating multiple invoices. And I just love showcasing this feature because it is part of the family of features called batching that we're introducing in advance. So we have batch import invoices, and we have batching of creating multiple invoicing. And all of this is in the family of accelerated invoicing. So it saves customers time, and also the repetitive tasks that we know that our larger businesses face on a daily basis. So let's jump back into Test Drive, and I am going to exit out of this, and I'm going to go to my plus and go to multiple invoices. So you saw that there was a little new badge there, and again, when you have more time, go in here and watch this. This gives the full breadth of details about the accelerated invoicing and multiple invoice capabilities. I'm not going to make you watch that now. I'm going to show you exactly what you can do with these multiple invoices. So I am going to start by creating an invoice, and I'm going to be, again, billing Amy's Bird Sanctuary. And we did some gardening services on a weekly basis, which we charge Amy $75 for. And we're going to tax her, because we're in California, the standard California tax rate. Now, what's exciting here is that I can duplicate this invoice for multiple customers. So since I perform gardening on a weekly basis for multiple customers, I'm going to add Bill, Cool Cars, and Diego Rodriguez. And let's also add Duke's basketball camp. So with that, I click next. And I have just duplicated all of the same invoice that we had for Amy's for multiple of my customers. Now, it has the same rate, the same amount, and the same totals. But let's say for Duke's, I did a little bit more for them. I did some pest control. So I'm going to add a line item to their invoice of pest control, my pest control services. I added a $35 to that. And now I can save my invoices and get them ready to send. In test drive, again, you can't save your invoices, but I have created multiple invoices in a fraction of the time, and then I'm able to send those out and get paid for my services. So with that, again, this feature is available now, and so far the feedback that we've been getting from customers is that this is a giant time saver for them. So with that, open it up for a couple more questions.
Thanks, Christine. Just bear with us. We had a little technical issue that got most of my attention here.
Oh, no worries.
No worries. So I really don't see a lot of questions on this. So either you did a really bang up job or people were focused. That was really good. But can they do a batch? And this is kind of, I don't know if you're familiar with the batch stuff like in desktop. So are you familiar with the desktop where they can batch transactions?
Yes, I am. And if we, let me go back to this. So this is the beginning of the batching specific to invoicing. And when we're creating the duplicating the invoice for multiple customers, this is when I can create an entire list of invoices and then send out a batch of those invoices to my customers. And so again,
and can you send those via email?
Yes, this will be sent via, all these invoices will be sent via email.
Okay, cool.
From QuickBooks. The one thing that I will add as the caveat for all of these features is we will continue to enhance and make these features better. So please do share that feedback, and we will take it all under consideration.
Okay, also one thing that comes up when we're talking about this kind of invoice automation, a lot of people, especially the accountants, they will have recurring transactions because, you know, if you got 500 clients, you want to bill them all the first of the month, you know, the calendar ticks away at midnight and all those invoices go out. So is this going to enhance that, or is this a little bit separate at this time? And if it's, or is there any marriage between this and the recurring?
Well, yeah, I need to get back to you on that question because I'm not sure if there's a specific link between the recurring and the batch invoicing, but I will share that out in the answers. Good question.
Okay, so we just check here. Okay, so we're gonna pretty well takes care of the rest of that Q&A.
Awesome.
So you're coming soon. Looking forward to hearing this.
Yes. Yeah. So a lot of new features are coming soon, and these are a couple that we wanted to call out. So I mentioned this on the beginning slide, but actually the third accountant seat is coming soon. So this is the opportunity to add yet an additional accountant or bookkeeper to your client's books. Right now in Plus it's 2, and with Advanced it's 3. And this is the second feature that's coming soon is support for sales tax. So at Intuit we have Exactor sales tax, and now they will be or coming soon, they will be able to use the accelerated invoicing feature. And if you saw, there is a section for tax rate, and so that will be using our enhanced sales tax engine. And then again, early on in the journey of this batching and the accelerating of repetitive tasks, but we're going to be introducing batch entry.
I want to thank you for attending today. Some of the resources that we discussed are available in that handout on this slide, and we look forward to seeing you next month at the In the Know QuickBooks Monthly Update webinar. Thank you again for attending. I will leave this webinar open for another 5 minutes, and then I will close it. Thank you.